everybody, and welcome to our January unboxing review. Worlds of Ink and Shadow by Lena Coakley. Hannah has read the book and now has opinions.
I do.
Hopefully.
I have some opinions. It's about the four very real, happened in real life siblings. Charlotte, author of Jane Eyre. Emily Bronte, who's my favorite, she wrote Wuthering Heights. Anne, who I cannot remember what her book was, less famous than the others.
Agnes Grey.
That might have been it.
Agnes Grey.
Something like that. And then they had a brother, which I didn't know about until I read this book. His name was Branwell Bronte, who was named after his mother's maiden name.
Oh.
It's been a couple years, but they're sort of recovering from the death of their two eldest sisters.
So many of them.
Yes, yes. And they're trying to get back into their groove, and what these siblings have always done has been doing creative things. And they write. And what happens when they write is that they are transported through a door. Now, this door that they talk about isn't a physical door, but they put their hand out and then they can walk through a sort of magical portal into the worlds that they create. And the world that they create together, they write different stories but take place in the same city of Verdopolis. Charlotte and Branwell will not let their younger siblings, Emily and Anne, come with them anymore, because there's a price they must pay to enter these worlds. And it all sort of comes crashing down around them when they decide to stop crossing over. But there is a force on the other side that won't let that happen. Yeah, it gets pretty intense actually, and it's very interesting because it's about writing. There's lots of allegories. It's a good introduction to those sort of things if you're not very familiar with them.
Literary terms.
It is. It's very literary, but it like engages you in a way that you want to know what happens next. You want to know what the price is that they pay, and it all sort of unfolds in the last 25-50 pages or so. What makes this book most interesting is the afterword. The author's afterword, which you would not normally think.
Is that what you want?
Because that's when you find out that the stories of Verdopolis and the characters that the Brontes wrote about, Sedeth, Alexander Rogue, the Duke of Zamorna, were all characters that the Brontes actually wrote about, and the town that they created is an actual town that they wrote about. So it's all taken from their historical writings. Do not read the afterword first, though, because it will ruin the end of the book. It will ruin the punchline. Well, it's not really a punchline. It'll ruin the surprise.
Brontes.
They keep you going right till the end. The way it ends up explains how the life of the Brontes in real life ended up. And I can't say anything more about that. If you're interested in history, if you're interested in England, and if you're interested in writing, it's a good one.
Did you like it? Are there things that you would want done differently?
Some of the made-up names seemed a little juvenile, but once you got over that, they really lived up to their names, and they sort of the character filled into the silly names. It was a little slow to start, but I'd say about 100 pages in, I really got going, and I finished it within a day.
So for sure, commit to it.
Yeah, give it a shot. It'll hook you there when you least suspect it.
So, I have some additional recommendations for if you like other worlds, fantasy, writing motifs in your books. For starters, Sarah J. Maas, whose quote we have on the print that we're giving away in the Instagram contest, has another series, A Court of Thorn and Roses is the first in the series. Think Beauty and the Beast, but in the world with the world of fairies and the fae. You have the Beast, the Beast figure, who is this legendary, rather ominous sort of character who the main character, she's only heard of this guy in legends, and it's only been like terrible things. But she meets him and encounters him and gets kind of whisked off to his world and lives with him in his castle, and of course falls madly in love with him and, the fires of their passion. It happens. So she goes off into this world, and she begins to discover more than she ever really thought to believe about the world of the fae. So check this out, especially if you like her other stuff, especially if you win the awesome print that we're giving away on Instagram. The second book that I would like to tell you about is Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld.
Love his writing.
He is the best. Quick plug for another series of his, the Leviathan trilogy is excellent. It's an alternate history, and the audiobook is really good. I know no teen ever listens to audiobooks, but do it! Do it! So Afterworlds is a set The main character has written a novel. She's like, I think 18 years old at this point. She's written a novel during NaNoWriMo National Novel Writing Month.
Oh!
Yeah. Gets a book deal signed, and it's gonna be it's not actually published when the story begins, but it's getting published. So she moves off to New York City and is finishing all of the edits that she has to do for this novel that she's written. It's kind of about her navigating living as an adult when she has absolutely no basis for experience doing so. But then the other half of this novel is the novel that she wrote. So you read through and you get the entire stories of both of them, and you can kind of see how they influence each other throughout the course of the book. So this is excellent, especially if you really like Worlds of Ink and Shadow.
Yes.
Definitely try this one. This is really good. But more of a it's set in modern day.
It's how the worlds that they write and the worlds that they live in are intertwined, are surprisingly similar.
They work together.
Art and life.
Excellent. So these are our recommendations for today. And we hope you like Worlds of Ink and Shadow. We hope one of you wins Worlds of Ink and Shadow.
Indeed.
Okay. Don't forget to comment for a chance to win all of these things. And then we've also got that print contest going on Instagram. Be sure to comment. And until then, we'll see you next time. So speaking of NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, which usually takes place in November, there is a kind of an offshoot of it, Camp NaNoWriMo. At the Orange Branch Library during the month of April, we will be doing Camp NaNoWriMo. So if you are a writer type, if you're interested in working on your own novel, a short story, a graphic novel, like any sort of creative writing that you do, stop by the Orange Branch Library in April. It's going to be Mondays from 4 to 6. We're going to have write-ins the entire month. So you can come in, you can work on your stuff. We'll have prizes to give away, all kinds of good stuff. So hope to see you there.